Amazing competition throughout today, and then tomorrow the final day, Super Sunday of the DARPA Lift Challenge, will be taking place here in Dayton, Ohio. Fantastic day. The weather's up, the wind is up, and we are so happy to see another drone going up as we welcome in our next guest here, Jonathan Bennett, the DARPA Chief of Staff. Good sir. Thank you so much. As we watch MTech go up, I can ask you right out of that, what's been your impression so far coming to this event?
Hugely impressed with the competition itself and the competitors. Just the level of innovation that's happening in the garages and on the course has been amazing. And of course, I'm very proud of our staff as well. Like, this is a very complex event to put on, and I think they've been doing a phenomenal job. I
will second that. They've been doing a phenomenal job. They have not missed a thing. No stone has been so. Let me ask you this. Is it true that you've been to every DARPA challenge?
No, I've fostered that myth for now. So I've been at most of them, but there's 2 or 3 that I have not been to.
Why would you miss one?
Well, part of it is I'm an Army Reserve, so I got deployed. But
thank you for your service.
Thank you. Yeah, and so I missed the launch challenge and I missed the subterranean challenge, but the rest of them pretty much I've been to.
You weren't going to miss this one.
No, not for sure. Yeah, this is an amazing one. We're super excited about.
So I've been hearing people say that this is a DARPA Grand Challenge. What is a DARPA Grand Challenge? What does that mean?
Yeah, it's a question we get a lot because, big C challenge versus little c. Honestly, there's not a real definition for it. I mean, the common elements of a challenge are that it's prize-based, that it's, pay for performance, and that there's some level of head-to-head competition that occurs to do that, rather than a traditional contract where you are paying someone, you set out goals and those kind of things. But honestly, I think that the elements of what makes a challenge successful and makes it really a grand challenge really comes down to our approach with it. And there's a great quote, actually, I like to reference. It's actually from Reagan's second inaugural speech. And it said something, I'll botch it, but...
You're paraphrasing.
Yeah, exactly. But it's freedom and incentives unleash the drive and entrepreneurial genius that are the core of human progress. Have you heard that one before?
Yes, and that pretty much summarizes what this weekend.
I think that's exactly right. And I think that when you look at challenges in general, that's actually the spirit of it, right? It's from a freedom standpoint is we're not defining for you how to solve the problem. We're telling you what the problem is, and we want to give you the freedom to explore it in a way that we may not have thought of. And then the incentives of it, part of it is, hey, you're here to win. You're here to win the money and take it home, and I think that is the thing that's the real magic behind challenges and why we continue to use them at DARPA.
As the competition rolls on here on day number 6, we're visiting with Jonathan Bennett, the Chief of Staff of DARPA. There is MTech up. This is a scoring run. How about this? They are at 4.8 nautical miles. And there you see them at 3.64, so they would put them into second place. It's good to have the DARPA Chief of Staff so we can get them all the hard questions. But how does this differ from the other challenges, the DARPA Lift Challenge?
It's really, it's an apple and orange question. To look at the original Grand Challenge with the autonomous vehicles compared to this, you might be surprised. This is actually at least as complex, maybe more complex than that in a number of ways. But you love all your children, and this one's no different. But this one, I think, the speed with which we came to get this done is one that I think is really different. I mean, Donna and the team, it was less than a year ago, I think, that we came to the director and he pitched this, and he was like, Stephen was like, let's go. And they put this thing together. I think this is the fastest we've ever pulled one together, and Donna and his team deserve a lot of credit.
Donna's a pretty convincing salesman, though, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, no doubt about it. Yeah.
What has been your favorite moment so far?
I love to interact with the teams and to hear kind of the innovations that they've come up with. I was talking to, I think it was the Burl team, and they were talking about their catastrophic early crash. And, they've got this very exquisite, carbon fiber wing, and them talking about having that moment where they were just like, oh, they were crushed. Right. They were like, we're out of it. And then, you go look at it now, and it's got 2x4s bolted to the bottom of it. And they say that, like, their solution that they came up with is actually better than the original design.
With the 2x4s.
Yeah, I know, it's crazy. And maybe they're saying that, but I think they seem genuine about it. And that's the kind of stuff that you just don't get in the lab. You just don't get, in PowerPoint, right? Like, to see that stuff get proven. And I also really love the high school and college teams that we see here. That's something that we saw in the original autonomous vehicle Grand Challenge with high school teams coming out, because let's be real, those are the future. Those are the guys that are going to really solve the problems in the next 20, 30 years.
Absolutely. Little breaking news here. MTech has set it down. Now, this is a pending score. They're going to review a few things, but as it stands right now, MTech, JB, would go into second place if this score stands.
Wow.
So I got to ask you this question, and I'll probably get in trouble for asking, but I'm going to do it anyways. What are you guys cooking up next? I know you and Don aren't rest on your laurels and say, yeah, we're good to go. Let's just go back and kick back. Is there anything you can share with us that what's the future hold?
So we actually have a challenge set up for this fall. I don't know if you've heard about it, the DARPA Triage Challenge. And that's a medical challenge that we're looking to find ways to use advanced sensors and robotics to identify ways that we can improve triage for mass casualty events or battlefield. So that's one we're really excited about. That's happening in November. And it'll be in the Disaster City complex in Texas. That's one. But I'll be honest, like we move really fast. So there are challenges that gets pitched at our tech council all the time, and not all of them are accepted. But we've got some folks that are developing some ideas that again around autonomy and those kind of things. But I don't want to push too much.
But there could be a challenge in less than a year that you haven't even heard a pitch yet on.
That's right. That's exactly right, and that's the DARPA way, right? We don't want to get stuck into milestone-based thinking where we're like, well, this is the thing. We want to be chasing, beyond the state of the art always.
Yeah, talk about that, because certainly there are people who say, well, if only I had a little bit more time, maybe I could have done things differently. But talk about the value of that accelerated timeline and why DARPA chooses to operate that way.
Yeah, I think speed as a factor really can't be underestimated, and it is. You're like, oh, if we would have been able to develop the materials better, those kind of things. I think putting pressure on people, that's the crucible that really drives the innovation that we're looking for, and that's again part of the DARPA way. I mean, we have programs. Our programs generally last 4 to 5 years. Very, very few programs go beyond that, and we're not an agency where we have these long, ongoing programs. We want to put the pressure, and that's true for our program managers as well. Like Donna's got an expiration date. He's
Donna's off camera here.
That's right.
Not literally, but
his career at DARPA. But that's the intent. Like we don't want people that come to DARPA and build something and defend it. We want people to come in with a fire in their belly, to explore something, and then we want them to go back out into the ecosystem. And I think this is true as well for the competitors, in that, if we gave them more time, they would take more time.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
I think true innovation is driven by that crucible.
If you tell me something isn't due for 6 months, I'm not even going to start for 4 months.
That's exactly right.
We're speaking with Jonathan Bennett, the Chief of Staff for DARPA. Someone once said that fear is the energy behind doing your best work. And as we walk through the prep areas, you see these teams that have these, what you'd say, big crashes, and then they're right back in there.
Yeah. Screwdrivers
out, everything. They're just working like bees. So it's a cool vibe here. And Elena's reported on it. Joshua knows about this community very well. They're helping each other as well. This isn't just a one-off my team against your team.
I think that's a really important point, and it's one of the things that we see as one of the most powerful parts of doing challenges is it's not just about solving the problem. It's about building the community around a technology. When we originally, again, call back to the original Grand Challenge, a big part of that, the community that Google ended up pulling in for their program was all basically the performers that were on that Grand Challenge, and I think you'll see that here as well.
I think a wise person said in the prep area, JB, early in the week, it's us against the drones.
It's not us against each other, it's us against the drones. I'm curious, you've seen so many of these challenges. Have you seen that also in other communities, or is this something that's unique to the aviation community?
No, I think you see it whenever we do. Like robotics was another challenge that we did that we saw that. We saw an enormous amount of, as you were talking about, with the collaboration.
Yeah.
So they blow an actuator or something like that. They go to the next pit and they help them out. I think everybody is, yes, there's a competitive spirit here, but really people want to see the problem solved.
You picked a good time to join us, Jonathan, because this is Avidrone. They are current leaders at 3.84 payload to weight ratio. We saw them go up at over 4. So you and Don are going to have to get ready to write a big check if they make it happen. But the weight ejected, but they're back on the line still, and they still have, by my calculations, over 45 minutes, plenty of time. MTech's run is pending scoring, so they're going to look at something else. Now, this is what we're hearing, breaking news. This is Defentex. Now, this is the drone, Joshua, that is, what, around 12 pounds?
Yes, 12
And I'm hearing
pounds.
crazy numbers in my ear that they're going to go and possibly go for a off-the-chart kind of payload to weight. So their tested flight was a 12.57 ratio.
And they've made an interesting choice because, of course, the minimum weight that you must lift to be qualified for a prize is 110 pounds. So by choosing to come with a 12-pound drone, they do not have the option to do less than something like a 10 or 11 to 1 payload to weight ratio. So I think of this as like they're swinging for the fences. They're either going to hit a grand slam and clear the bases and just charge ahead.
So it's a double-edged sword, really, for them.
Absolutely.
But you probably love seeing this, John. I mean, this more the merrier.
You said, cut that check. That's a check we would love to cut, right? Like, that's not something we're unhappy about at all. So.
Yeah, the big question is, like, that we've seen them have a structural failure during one of their previous tests. So they're pushing their airframe right to the limit to lift that much weight with something so light.
So these are the final preparations that they are going through, trying to make the changes or adjustments they may need with that massive payload to weight ratio.
You can see those guy wires that Donna talked about breaking on one of the previous runs, holding those arms up, supporting them.
Not to speak too much hyperbole, but there is the wind situation again. It is certainly going to be a factor, but this is a situation possibly where we could see history being made today. I mean, this is one of those deals where Joshua is closer to the ground on this one, but a lot of people in the community said this will never happen. You cannot do 4-to-1. We're on the verge of doing 4-to-1.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's, if you'd set this out as a traditional program, it's hard to say if that would have actually been achieved. This is, like that competitive spirit that we get out here is the thing that drives this. So, yeah. It's exciting.
Jonathan, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it. We appreciate you putting this together.
Appreciate it.
Jonathan Bennett, the DARPA
really
Chief of Staff, joining us here, and he's going to go out in the flight line and take it all in. Take a pen. You might be writing a check soon. Jonathan Bennett, the DARPA Chief of Staff, joining us here on the set, and we appreciate him and all the good folks at DARPA. One thing he did say, Joshua, and I have to second it again, is the staff from DARPA, all the good folks, Donna, his team, all the people in the orange shirts.
Everybody.
Working their tails off for more than a week.
Working their tails off, for sure, and it's been inspiring to see the attitude that they bring.
Yeah.
Everybody is excited about this. Nobody seems to be just here to collect a paycheck. Yeah. Everybody wants to see this happen.
And we've got a feature on them coming up a little later on today. So from the DARPA Chief of Staff, back to the Program Manager, Philip Smith, call sign Don.